Hello students of class 10. Welcome to this video. I hope you all are doing good. This is the second online class and today we will take up the poem 9 Gold Medals by David Lee Roth, and of course this is the last poem of your syllabus. Before we go into the poem, let us know who the poet is. About the poet, David Lee Roth is an American poet, rock singer, songwriter, actor, and author who came to fame for being the lead vocalist of the Southern California-based hard rock band Van Halen. David Roth has worked as a freelance classical musician since January 2008. In 2012, Roth and Van Halen released an album, A Different Kind of Truth, which was highly acclaimed. Now the poem at a glance. The poem 9 Gold Medals is a poignant record of an incident that takes place at the Special Olympics when differently abled contestants set off for a race. The last race of an athletic event in which 9 athletes are participating in a 100 meters race is about to start. The 9 athletes queue up in the starting line amidst much cheering. The pistol explodes and the race starts. The youngest of the athletes stumbles and falls on his knees, and he cries out with the pain of disappointment as all his dreams of winning the medal are shattered. Knowing what it must feel like to have those dreams crushed, the other 8 athletes, instead of running, came back to help the fallen athlete. Then all the 9 athletes hold each other's hand and walk to the finishing line, ending in 9 gold medals instead of 1. All the contestants displayed empathy, turning the Special Olympics into a really special one, and the banner above them read, Special Olympics. Stanza 1. The athletes had come from so many countries to run for the gold and the silver and bronze. Many weeks and months in training, all building up to the games. Explanation of stanza 1. It is Special Olympics time, an international event. Athletes from many countries have come to participate and win gold, silver and bronze medals. The athletes assembled here had spent many weeks and months of training and are anxiously waiting for the momentous event. The atmosphere all around is filled with excitement. Stanza 2. All round the field, spectators were gathered, cheering on all the young women and men. Then the final event of the day was approaching, the last race about to begin. Explanation. A lively stadium is presented. All around the field, people have gathered and are warmly cheering the young participants. The spectators were eagerly waiting for the last race, which was the final event of the day. Stanza 3. The loudspeakers called out the names of the runners. The 100 meters, the race to be run. And 9 young athletes stood there determined and poised for the sound of the gun. Explanation. As it happens in an international event, before the race starts, the names of the participants of the 100 meters race were announced through the loudspeakers. The 9 young athletes stood at the starting point, calm and composed, with determination in their eyes, waiting for the signal, the sound of the gunshot. Stanza 4. The signal was given, the pistol exploded, and so did the runners on hearing the sound. But the youngest among them stumbled and staggered, and he fell on his knees to the ground. Explanation. The official starter of the race gave the signal by firing the pistol. At the sound of the gunshot, all 9 runners started to run. All of a sudden, The youngest among the nine contestants tripped, lost his balance, and fell on his knees to the ground. Stanza 5. He gave out a cry of frustration and anguish. His dreams and his efforts dash in the dirt. But as sure as I'm standing here, telling the story, now it's a strange one, but here's what occurred. Explanation. The youngest of the athletes who fell down cried out in frustration and anguish as all his dreams of winning the medal has shattered. Everyone in the stadium saw him fall and heard his cry. All eyes were now focused on him. The poet says, the next thing that happened was a strange one, and then goes on to narrate the story. Stanza 6. The 8 other athletes stopped in their tracks. The ones who had trained for so long to compete, one by one they turned round and came back to help him and lifted the lad to his feet. Explanation. The 8 athletes running the race saw what happened to the 9th athlete, and they all stopped in their track. These athletes, who had trained for so long to win medals, in the middle of achieving their dreams, suddenly stopped in their track. Instead of running towards the finishing line, all of them turned around and came back to help the youngest athlete who had fallen. They lifted the boy from the ground and made him stand on his feet. Here in this stanza, we see an unexpected reaction from the 8 participants. The unexpected reaction gives shock and surprise to everyone in the stadium. Stanza 7. Then all 9 runners joined hands and continued. The 100 meters reduced to a walk, and the banner above that said Special Olympics could not have been nearer the mark. Explanation. The other 8 athletes forgot their desire to be ahead of everyone else. The 9 of them hold each other's hand and turned the 100 meters race into a walk to the finishing line. The poet says that the banner above that read Special Olympics in big letters was justified because the act of these runners could not have been any greater to make it Special Olympics. In this stanza, the spectators are presented with new turns and twists as the actions of the athletes unfolded in front of their eyes. The spirit of empathy is visible in a very special way. Stanza 8. That's how the race ended. With 9 gold medals, they came to the finish line holding hands still, and the banner above and 9 smiling faces. Say it more than these words ever will. Say it more than these words ever will. Explanation. All the 9 smiling runners holding each other's hand reached the finishing line at the same time, and instead of one, there were now 9 winners, as each one of them were given a gold medal. The banner above that read Special Olympics, and the smile on the faces of the 9 athletes expressed far better than words ever could say. All the 9 athletes displayed empathy, turning the Special Olympics into a truly special one. The poet repeats the last sentence of the poem so as to emphasize on the greatness of the runners as well as to salute them. Theme of the poem: empathy and sportsmanship. Sports is not merely about winning medals. They are also about learning the values of cooperation, foster brotherhood, understanding, and compassion. Empathy is the ability to understand and accept others who are different from us. It helps us to appreciate what other person is going through and to offer emotional support at the time of need. The poem teaches us that in life, We often prioritize competitions and focus on winning them at any cost, irrespective of what comes our way. However, there are bigger things in life than just winning a competition. This poem emphasizes on the sportsmanship and kindness exhibited by these athletes that made them win a gold medal each for their exemplary behavior. Appropriateness of the title. It means how suitable is the title, or how apt is the title. The title 9 Gold Medals conveys the theme of the poem as well. The title has made the poem more interesting and memorable. It arouses our curiosity as to who had won the 9 gold medals. Those 9 differently able athletes have not won a game, but have won our hearts for the display of empathy and true spirit of sportsmanship. They are therefore more eligible to get gold medals for the golden show of humanity. Thus, the title not only reveals the subject matter of the poem and is therefore very just and apt.